buyers in your making? Okay, all right. We missed all of it. Yeah. So if you did you have a question? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are these buyers investors or they bought the home?
These are families that bought the home for their families. They're not investors.
Yeah, it's primary residence.
Yeah, yeah.
But what can you do to convince your buyers? Maybe whatever those most recent comps are, you may find in certain circumstances that the actual selling price is greater than the asking price. So if they're wondering how they should structure their offer, obviously you should be, if you can, be aggressive on the terms. And then the thing I see over and over when somebody's really aggressive on the terms, usually the buyer never lives up to the terms that they're offering. They'll say 7A close, 7A removal of contingency. So they'll say anything that they have to, even though maybe they can't perform. So keep that in mind. But maybe that's you're going to be competing against. But if you show the buyers other properties maybe that are comparables per se or a similar area, and they can see the possibility from the MLS that it's sold for a price greater than the asking price, it should be a good message for them that they're going to have to be aggressive. Otherwise, they just may lose out. So, and did somebody else have another question before we begin? Well, our guest speakers are here, actually. Archana, where are you? You missed the very beginning of the meeting. I'm not going to say anything. So let's bring up our two guest speakers. So Archana Derekar, come on up, Archana. Thank you. And then Shweta Kajanchi, right? Shweta, thank you for coming. So the whole purpose of today is just to present, first of all, let me talk about them briefly. Archana was licensed June 11, 2016, and oddly enough, Shweta, September 22nd, 2016. And then they joined our office, and they've been here ever since. They plan to retire here.
Yeah.
Good answer. That took you a long time. You didn't say anything. And actually, it's very interesting to watch their careers develop. So they went from they came here from different countries.
Yes.
And then so they have developed relationships, and now every year they have been award winners. So it's pretty amazing in regards to what they've accomplished. And the whole mindset change also in regards to how they manage buyers, clients, commissions, things like that. So I've got a few prepared questions, but I'd prefer that anyone else in the audience, if you're remote, please just speak up or type it in the chat. We'll try and follow you as best as we can. But just let's start off with a couple of questions. So which neighborhoods do you specialize in? Is there such a thing?
I think, so again, I'm Archana. Depends if you're a buyer's agent. I don't think you can really call yourself a neighborhood specialized person. That's what I have figured out in so many years of my real estate career is you go where your client is. She makes fun of me, and I've sold homes in San Diego, Temecula, I've sold homes in Bay Area, but definitely a geographic area. As a buyer's agent, I try to stay within Irvine or SoCal. Mostly I've done a lot of my business in Irvine. The second place I like is nowadays Chino, Corona, Riverside. Some of my favorite cities where I like to go, I feel safe, and I think about my clients similarly, and I take them to places where I feel it meets a lot of my family's requirements. So definitely focused on Irvine, but I don't stop myself. If I love my client, I go where they want me to go.
So your buyer representation is much higher than listing.
Yes.
Correct.
I think 70% of my business is buyers.
Okay. Now, Shweta's mix is a little bit different.
Yes.
Certainly, everyone's going to want to know what you've done to market. But Shweta, so you do farm in certain areas, don't you?
Yeah, I farm and
yes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making me speak. Yeah.
So I'm
Can I ask Archie a question before we move
yeah,
to
go ahead.
So if you don't have a farm that you market to for buyers, how do buyers find you? How do you market to buyers?
So Carlos is my coach. I have not done any coaching or anything formally. And Richard and John, where is John? But when I started in real estate, definitely Carlos guides us through the process. Mary is always there to help us. to tell, okay, do the farming, and there are definitely benefits of farming. I see that with Shweta, I would point it to her because we started almost at the same time. Farming, there is no alternative to farming. There were past successful clients in our office, and they used to say, if you're not farming, you're not in real estate business. For me, it is working out by focusing on people, by focusing on buyers, and definitely knowledge of my market, knowledge of criteria that I want to guide my clients towards, so they decide on the homes they buy. But farming, you always tell me to do it. I'm not that person, I've learned. She's amazing in that. We have master here, Holden, who does great farming, but that's just not my style.
But you do belong to like certain groups,
So,
right? Networks?
yeah,
Social
so
farming.
initially I farmed in the neighborhood I lived in, and I talked about John because he's like, you don't want to farm in your neighborhood. People will look at you differently. But that's where my comfort zone was. And I knew people, I knew schools, my kids were in those schools, and I joined PTA, I joined all of associations I could. I spent my time there than doing direct farming or marketing. And that brought me business, and it's still bringing me business. My business is mainly reference. So one client, the housewarming is my open house. It's like when I go to those housewarming of closed transactions, I get 3 new leads, and those are like hot leads. I don't even have to work them. So that's just how I have developed and grown my business. So yeah, farming not so focused.
Questions. And first of all, you live around here, right?
Yes, I live in
And
Greater.
second of all, your buyer agent and most of them is for the primary home or for invest.
So initially, I sold a lot of primary homes, lot of first-time home buyers, new homes is my specialty. He knows that, and there are some agents who reach out to me to know about new homes. I'm always focused. I love those. So I think I have developed my career in the direction I love housing market. I have not done it by the book, but it's helping me and it's giving me what I want out of this career or profession. I was in IT before, but came into real estate, completely new career for me. Never done sales, but like it works. You have to find your style and your comfort zone, and you will grow and prosper. So, oh,
I have a question for you. So, we're being like people business, right? My
Yes.
question for you is, you mentioned you go to the housewarming party is so important because you just got a connection with the people, right?
yes.
When you talk to them at first time, so how you introduce yourself, or maybe later on how you build that relationship, you just more talk about some like kids, school stuff, or you talk about the business here and there, how you.
That's a good question. So when I meet people, first thing you need to have a happy client, right? The closing that you have done and the housewarming you're at, you need to have a client who is 200% satisfied. My goal is realtor for life, right? So I go above and beyond to make sure that family needs are met. When I meet those new leads, they just introduce me to their friends and family. And they say, oh, they are looking, they have an agent, but it's not working out. Or they are just going in open houses. Just have a general conversation with them and I exchange the numbers. That's all I do at that party. I don't want to be selling. Definitely, wherever we walk in, all of us, you will notice that people just ask you the question. So, okay, how is the real estate market? Sometimes I feel initially I used to get engaged a lot, but then I used to feel like some people you will get the vibes that you're just being fancy. So I've stopped doing that consciously. I try to limit the discussion and then I take their numbers or contact information, then I call them to office. That's a free complimentary. Now we will have to do that with the new rules, but I call them to office or most of the time if they are new. If I knew them, then it's a different process I follow. But office is where I bring them and then start the conversation.
Because when you invite them to the office, pretty much they're ready or they want to buy something from you. But what about some like friends or families? They're not ready, but
Oh, they are never ready. They are never ready. Buyers are never ready. You will find only 10% of the clients you meet who are ready. They know their timeline and they'll stick to it. They are never ready. You have to take them through the journey. So-
How often after you order from them, how often you contact them? After.
She would laugh on my follow-up, but
They both have
I
different
always-
styles.
She's my benchmark. I've never met that yet. But I think once I start talking to them, I have a process I try to stick to, and it slowly increases. The follow-ups comes from their motivation and timeline. I'm like I said, I don't follow the process. It's all about my client and customization, I would say. I think let's take to Shweta for that first question. I
I
can
think Shweta's
continue
enjoying
talking.
this.
Welcome to Florida then.
Shweta, you might want to go back to first question. Do you farm? or-
Yeah, tell us about your farming activities first, and
Okay.
your buyer representation after that.
So I farm in Woodbridge. I've been farming since I think then I joined in September, so I started farming in October. That's how I've been, and I've grown from there. I started with 500 homes, and I added another. I kept adding homes. At one point, I had too many tracks, which I realized I could not keep up with the marketing balance, so I cut back. So I would say cut back whenever you're ready. Don't stretch yourself for like 5 years and decide to cut back. It's a waste of money. So cut back as soon as you realize it's out of your budget, and then stick to that. I do EDDM, bulk mail, and I do drop as well. Apart from that, I put out my ad in the monthly newsletter that Woodbridge has. I do Facebook posts. I have events that I advertise on Nextdoor and Facebook, and I boost the ad in a 2-mile radius of the neighborhood. Of course, I have a bunch of videos that I post on different platforms from Facebook to different groups, and I've got clients from that as well. So yeah, these are the marketing activities that I do.
Yeah, mainly focused on Woodbridge.
Well, what about the other personal activities you do, the pot pies, or the events
Oh,
you
yeah.
just held recently? Those are all things that add
Yeah.
to your farming.
Yeah, I also do Popeyes, which has helped me.
Can you
a
tell
lot.
them what that means when you do pot pies?
So when, of course, I look at the sell ratio of certain on my farm, like which homes do I think is going to probably sell, or sometimes I pick up when I've door knocked on my farm. I've had a conversation with somebody, and they've mentioned that, hey, we might be considering. I mark it on my notepad, and I put them in my next pop by where I drop off a small gift. I use a company called Pop by Co, and they send me 30 small gifts every 3 months or 4 months. And then I go down these 30 families who have either come from my open house or I have door knocked on them, or some of my past clients, and it's a mixture of all of them, which I have an Excel sheet for each quarter that I've done. I kind of go back and make sure I hit them at least once a year. And of course, apart from those, open house, expireds,
You
door
do
knock.
your contact expires.
I did, and
In
that's
your
how
farm area or outside?
farm area. And I actually, my best expired contact was in West Park. I did that in COVID, and from that I got a buyer and a seller from the same transaction. Then they referred me the neighbor. The next year I sold their house, and then from that I got the third house. It wasn't even my farm area, and now the fourth listing just came from that one expired that started my 4 listings out of it, and now the first one is ready to sell again. So it was just from an expired door knock that I got that.
So you said you choose from data that suggests the next to sell per se. What tool do you use to make that determination?
So LT Dynamic Farm has a bunch of, like, when I see absentee owners or out of state, or just you can look from there. Before, they used to have a tool on MLS where you'd set the sell rate of a particular listing. So I used to use that, but now it's primarily like if a listing has sold in my tract, then I'm going to pick up a few homes around there, which I look and see, are they old families living in a single level home, or are they older families living in a 2-level home and they're ready probably to move out? How long have they lived in this house? How much equity do I have? And I do that calculation, and then I pick out my families.
Oh, yeah, she is scientific.
She's very methodical.
Sounds
Yeah.
like sorcery to me.
Benchmark. I've not met any of those criteria yet.
It's so interesting,
She
the
does
difference
it
in regards to how you approach it.
Style.
But then, yeah, she's very good with that. My transactions are not so much on buyers. I sometimes decide not to work with a buyer if they're giving me too much of a tough time. I'm like, I'm not going to work with. It's not me.
But hasn't that changed? When you first started, now
Yeah.
you make a decision to consciously
Right.
not
Yeah.
with somebody else.
Yeah.
Before, we're chasing that.
If you don't trust me, I don't want to work with you. That's fine. Move ahead.
Yeah, so I think first couple of years, you really don't choose. You're like, you want to learn. And that's what I've been wearing learning hat I wore learning hat, not anymore. Now, like initially when all these experienced agents used to say that, okay, you have three options. Either you get hired or you get the listing, or you don't get the listing, or you decide not to take the listing, right? So those three options were available. And I used to not get that point in first two, like, okay, if I have a lead, how can I let it go? I have to work. I have to make sure I close on that transaction. But now, over period, definitely you decide and you know your choices and your limitations and
And then, of course, you
expertise.
maintain an Excel sheet I maintain an Excel sheet and, of course, my database on a CRM. So I go through my Excel sheet every time I have a talk with my coach and see which are my clients who are on my pipeline, whether they're a seller or a buyer. Have I contacted them often enough? I try to contact them if they're a hot lead, at least once a month. If not, then all my sphere of influence or my past clients at least 3 times a year. I definitely call them, talk to them, and just check how the kids are doing. Do they know of anyone looking to move in? I either send them a text message or just call them or do a pop by. And Mary is helping me also make gifts to drop up to all my past clients at least once a year.
Yeah, I do that too. I think
Yeah,
twice
so
a
you
year.
do.
Twice a year, visit my past clients.
Yeah.
That's my,
Yeah.
yes, that's my to do.
Or I just call them and say, let's meet up for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I say, let's meet up for a drink, they might show up more often.
They like it. For Thirsty Thursday, right?
You guys got started, what would you say was the most effective thing that you used or that you saw was working the best to kind of gain traction?
Open house.
Open houses,
Open
no
houses.
doubt, there's no
Like for
doubt,
other, like,
open
for
houses.
Other real estate agents that
Yeah.
you would help
Yes.
us with? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
do as many open houses as you
I think I
can.
was doing open house every weekend. If
Yeah.
someone gave me an open house, I
And
was
she
doing-
told me to do, so I followed, and there is no other alternative. You can't be enjoying your weekend. You have to get the first 2-3 years. If you do open houses in your area of interest, obviously expertise comes with the interest. There's no doubt you'll prosper.
Buyers are coming to you.
Yes, they are like hot leads. That's like a bubbling pot for the clients. Why
And
would I
then,
do
of
all
course,
this?
you
Yeah.
have to put those people in your CRM.
How do you get their information?
What is my
Yeah,
open
what do
house?
you say to them? So they write down their contact information, because you had an open house recently, you said 30 or 35 parties
I
through
made
in
sure
one
everybody-
day?
Yeah, I made
Yeah,
sure
how do you
everybody-
even manage that?
Oh, that's
That's a lot
very
of
easy.
people. Oh.
You just tell them seller wants you to
Uh-huh.
sign in
Yeah.
before you
And do
enter
they
the
mostly
home.
comply?
Seller wants to know who all visited their house.
I said it's seller occupied and out of, they have all their belongings. It's part of the thing that you need to sign in before you do the home.
Yes.
And then
So-
in terms of like your farming and your.
Even if it's
advertising and
vacant, I
stuff,
would just
what do
make
you
them sign.
see
That's it. Yeah.
has the most turnover? Like, I know that farming is really great, but like, when you say like you do like advertisements on social media and stuff, what do you think has like the best? But yeah, I guess it's more directed towards you.
Social media, of course, my videos that I do, and then I share them, like I said, on different Facebook groups. So I've had clients sometimes reach out even from Pasadena, and I always ask when a new client calls up.
Yeah.
How did you find my information? And then they say, oh, we looked you up on Zillow, or I saw your ad on the Facebook group, and that's how I'm reaching out.
Do you advertise on Zillow?
I used to advertise on Zillow, but they somehow just look up agents in Irvine, and
Oh,
then
I
if
see.
it pops up,
Oh,
then-
okay, we'll
yeah.
come.
I think Zillow, I did initially, I paid
Initially, yeah.
Karam Jivani there, he was my,
Class with him,
Yeah,
I
so
heard
he
all that
guided
stuff.
me to do that, and it's like Zillow is a good place
Yeah.
to be.
I don't do that
And
anymore.
But the
initially
important
I
thing is-
paid, but it was all, so not a good lead.
It's important to get reviews on Zillow too, because that's probably
Yes.
why they're calling you guys, because you
Yeah.
ask your past
I
clients. to
always make
write
sure I
reviews.
bug them so much. I think I go them 3 or 4 times. And then my coach goes, haven't you got? I said, but I've sent them 3 messages and they haven't responded yet. So what? Call them up. And then that's like pushing my comfort zone, but then I'll suck it up and
Yeah,
call.
someone told me just keep bothering them until they tell you to stop,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Because it's not that they don't want to or they're not happy. It's just that now they've moved and they're unpacking and they're settling into the new place. And so they're busy. And that's what sometimes takes time. So he's now the new strategy is to get a review while you're in escrow and all the contingencies have been removed and let them know that, hey, now that you have time, I just want you to make sure that, can you please get me write down a review for me? So
If I don't
That's
get
it.
the review, we're not gonna close.
That's the condition.
yes, Sunny.
Yeah, it's like, now getting leads, I don't think is very difficult, especially all the high technology. I can get a leads, because Carlos told me, you can get a lead from CMA, from Cloud CMA. You just put your website and link to that CMA, and when the people check their property value, you can get their contact information, or other way, get a lead. But also from the open house too. I got a lot of leads from open house, their buyers. Here's something happened, I contact them, we're talking during the open house, hey, what are you looking for, are you working with agent? And they say no. And after that, we changed the phone number, and I asked them, hey, may I have your email so I can, send you all the properties you might interested, and we can start from there. Maybe you have something coming up, I will let you know. But they never reply text message. But I keep sending them public message after. But
Did you
there's
try
no
calling them up?
Respond.
Did you try calling them up?
No, because I feel like sometimes the people don't want.
Never shy away from a call.
Yeah, I think call and personal interaction is
Because
what,
I had an online
keeps them
lead
engaged.
who came up from my website and he said, oh, wait, I'm looking. I said, okay, fine. Have you been pre-approved? And he goes, no. I said, I'm going to connect you with the lender. You need to get pre-approved before we sit down and meet. And so I know what price point you're really looking into. And so I connected him with the lender. So of course I make sure the lender is keeping me posted whether he's reached out or not. And whether it's a genuine lead. Sometimes you get all these crappy leads out there and I don't want to be talking to them. But once they've been pre-approved, they come back or I'll say, have you been pre-approved? Just to make sure, even if the lender says they have been pre-approved, I still reach out, have you been pre-approved? Yes, okay, fine. Then now let's talk about where are you looking and what price point. But find out if they've been pre-approved, not pre-approved, and then call them up. Don't worry about calling up.
Yeah, calling, I think, is the key.
You
For
can
me, like I said, not geographical farm, but for me, what happens is when you are doing open houses, this is more from open house format that I got my lead. When you are doing open houses, you're doing them in the area you know very well. If I do open houses in random areas, it's hard. Those leads they just drop off. But areas I know because you talk to them or you see them in the field, like the areas you mingle, you know their friends or you know their kids in the school or things about them, you see them more, and that becomes kind of obligatory for them to respond to you. And that way you start getting connections from different points, and then they start responding to you. But yeah, if you have done open house in a random field, farm or random area that you don't work in, you don't live in, you don't, like if your gym is there or something, you will find a person, like when your client is A, you will find a B is connected to A, and that just helps them to stick to
not
you.
necessarily,
No.
not necessarily.
No.
Hey, by the way,
Sometimes you have,
Yeah, so-
by the way, for all your leads, doesn't matter where you get it, like what is the percentage you ended, through the business with them, like ended close the deal with them? Like, you think what's the percentage?
You say your percentage?
For my bias is, I would say 90% conversion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't,
That's amazing.
I don't engage with people who are not interested. Like she said, I would send the text to 3 times. If they're not responding, I'll say, okay, I think I won't bother you anymore. When you are interested and ready,
I
would be
follow up
happy
a
with
little
that.
bit more than that.
Yeah, yeah,
How about
She's-
you, Shweta?
good.
Huh?
How about you? What about your percentage?
I don't have too many buyers. That's not my biggest
Yeah.
strength. I don't think so. But if a buyer is committed to me, I know they are committed, and then
Yeah.
I'll follow up. I put them on my auto emails on my MLS. I see how often they're checking it. And then I send them a text, hey, I saw this property. I'm not sure whether you missed it or not. Just wanted you to have a look. Let me know if you want to schedule a showing. So just to make sure, are they still looking or they're not looking? Or I'll say, hey, it's been a long time. Have you been looking at homes? Have you seen something that you liked? So my conversion rate is probably not 90. I don't work with too many, probably around 70. Yeah, I don't
Oh, I just
really.
feel like working with the buyer is so difficult,
I have a buyer 3 years. We've
Yeah.
been working. I haven't converted, and I've just put them on an auto email. I see that they're checking their emails, and randomly I might just text them every month. Have you seen this or whatever, just to get an update if they're still in the market or not.
And I think for me, I bring them to the office. And if they come to office, sit with me for an hour, have the
Then they're
discussion,
mesmerized.
then they're like 90% come. If they're not coming to office, I'm not wasting my time. At least for me, my issue is not lead generation. My issue is sometime follow-ups. But if I have enough leads, I don't really need to work for more leads. Right?
She has too many leads. She can't follow.
But it's true, you
Fire.
didn't start out this way with this level of confidence.
Yeah.
Yes, so it
Yeah,
was an
open
evolution.
houses has worked for me. Anybody wants to take their career to the next level. I did a training in Oka, which was next level real estate. I paid a lot of money for that for a year, and they taught me the buyer because my passion, my philosophy is I would love to help people buy the home or upgrade the home. Now I do everything, but initially that was my thought. And I focused and I took that 1 year training and I tailored that process to my own personality. And that's how I'm doing it. And that's why like 90% conversion. If they're not interested, I did initially cold leads. That's something I couldn't work. I just don't have that strong follow-up that she has. And she could, right? You have done great follow-ups. She's really good at follow-ups.
Archie, I remember when you first started and you said that you just wanted to see people happy in their new home and you didn't care if you made money on it, and you didn't care what the commission was. I remember that.
Yes.
And because of that, I think that built you up to who you are now as a
Yes,
successful realtor because
reputation.
you just wanted to see them happy. You didn't care. You wanted to negotiate the best terms for them. And that's all that mattered to you. You didn't look at the commission. You didn't care about,
Yeah,
any of that. So I remember that.
that's a philosophy, yes.
So you say, you do like a rebate?
You said coding is key, so most time they're working like 8 hour daytime. So what time you open call your client?
So I think when I did that training, they said, best time to get clients' attention is between 9 to 11. They have dropped their kids, they are going to office, but they have not started yet. They are not into full swing of work. So that's the time you get the maximum best attention because they are relaxed. Like, okay, I'm done with the morning routine. Now I need to get into the work. So morning 9 to 11. Yeah.
Thank you.
And we work all the hours, 24, 48 if we have, right? Evenings, weekends. So that's a compromise.
So when the buyer asks you for rebate, how you handle this?
So I do help them with closing cost. And initially I did more than needed through the escrows. Yeah, that's the nature of your clientele. My Indian people, that's the first question they asked. And I talked to Rich and I try to stay within my boundaries and rules and I do it. I'm not going to hide it. That's the market. Redfin is advertising it. How are we going to compete with Redfin?
Yeah.
My clients are going on Redfin when a lot of them start looking at Redfin and they think they can make an appointment and me be the agent. And I have to, that's why I've started bringing people to office. I repeat and, repeat and recall, make them recall that I have to be the procuring cause. I have to walk that home with you. If it's a new home, I have to be at the first appointment. And I know it's hard conversation to have initially, but otherwise you can't, I don't force them to pay me. If they follow rule, if I'm within the boundaries, and then we work through the office.
How does the
If they-
discussion go when someone's asking for a commission reduction? Do they ask for astronomical numbers? I want 1%,
my
2%?
God.
Yeah, how do you
Lot of
address that?
Indians, like Indian. My clients are a lot of Indians and some non-Indians. And I heard some Chinese people are sorry to be racist comments, but that's how we deal with. So there are neighbors who ask me, oh, hi Archana, I know you started, you have a real estate license, you work, we see you doing these events in the community. By the way, I'm buying a home in Sacramento. That was the classic one so far. Can I put your name? And the agent in Sacramento is ready to give me 70% back. Can you do 85?
Not match.
Oh,
They can do
I
increasing.
think 70 is great. You are getting, please go with that agent. You can't, you just have to. I made mine that this is the amount I want from each transaction. Out about that, okay, I can help you. And again, every family is different. Every family's financial situation is different. And like Carlos said, I love them to have a home for their family. I've seen people living in apartments and their kids are going to college. I feel so bad for them. It's not that their credit is bad. It's not that they don't have income. It's just nobody guided them through that process or took them home. That's all I feel like, I will, that's how I think. I think too personal, I guess. And it's helping me.
Yeah. So Shweta, how do you handle discussions regarding commissions?
So I let them know, I said, if you are going to be buying in the next 3 months that I work with you, or I'll give you back the 25, 30 that you're looking for. If it's longer, then depends on how many homes I'm showing you and the time I'm investing in it. That's how the commission structure will vary.
Yeah, I have learned to say that now. Whatever I did initial two years to get my seed grow into a plant, I have decided to now going to next level. Because I have developed expertise, I know my job. I know what I'm going to do for you, and I'm going to watch out for the best interest of my client.
But I've had times
Yeah.
where I've given 50% back, but it's because they're like, oh, this is the house we like. Can you write an offer? And the offer gets accepted on that house. I'm like, sure, I haven't done much.
So Archana, you said you work with a lot of buyers that purchase new homes. How do you manage that?
A lot of buyers. So how do I manage my schedule?
No. When they're
Credit.
asking for a credit out of your commissions on new home tracks. I guess we don't want to discuss that. Is that what it's coming down to? Okay, all right. We're gonna have to pause the video for this one, so we'll just pass on that. That's okay.
Yeah. No, I don't. I've recently, there are scenarios where I have sold homes to clients, new homes where Lennar was not paying.
Yeah,
But I do it because I know when they're selling it, they're going to come to me or they're going to send their friends to me. I'm not going to, somebody's coming for help to me. I love to help. I am a social worker in my house. That's what they call me. And so I help. I love homes. I love people.
Mhm.
I
That's
go
interesting.
help
You'll
them.
still take them even if there's no compensation
Yes,
offered.
I take them and I give
Oh.
my expertise because I know those are my, future
Mhm.
clients. And I have seen that. They come back in 2 years and they say, oh, we made mistake. We should have bought that, not this. Can you help us look for bigger? I had a client, I was banging my head. They were qualified. They wanted that home. They didn't listen and they bought one home. And in 8 months, they called me and they, can we start looking for bigger? So, so I got their sale and buy. So that's how I work.
Oh, if
Yeah.
someone is looking for a new home, Lennar home, I'm like, fine, you go ahead. I've already spent 3 months showing you homes. You want a Lennar home,
Yes.
go do that. But I'll still keep in touch. I may not go sign up for the Lennar home. I'm not doing that shit.
Because I think because my thought with this is they have come to me. So they have eliminated all other agents, for now and future to talk to me for my expertise. This is not applicable to all, but most of normal people, they have come to me and see me as an expert or a trusted resource in real estate. I do not want to lose that connection, and they are on my phone forever and I'm in their phone forever. So that's my goal, that realtor for life, whether I make transaction and money in that one transaction or I make later.
So we've witnessed in very few cases, but there are some listings that are offering zero compensation or $1 actually.
Already.
Yes, just very small percentage, very, very small percentage. So knowing that we're going to be facing this change coming forth, how do you think you're going to proceed when having to get a buyer representation agreement and there's going to be compensation specified in there? So if you take them, you specify 2%, take them to a Lennar tract who isn't paying anything. Are you going to enforce that? Is that the intent? What do you think your discussion
I
will be?
have to. Now I have to.
Yeah,
If the
okay.
industry is changing, I have to adapt or I have to look for new jobs.
So it might be helpful. It might be helpful, actually.
Yeah, no, not social worker. So you can be doing 30% of your activity, at least me, 30 might be too high for some of you, but 30% as voluntary, right? And that brings more business for me, but I still need to sustain my 70% revenue. So I will have to change, and I've been discussing with you guys and I've been reading and I'm going to open houses and meeting new agents and asking them, like, okay, well, how are you guys going to do it? And I just was in the open house in one of the Redfin home, and the agent who was holding open house was not the listing agent. So obviously he was there for the buyers, and I asked him, how are you guys doing it? Have you implemented? And he said, they have been trained now to do first home just by appointment. And on the second home, if they want to work with that agent, they're making them sign the buyer broker agreements. And they are saying, if you sign this, we will give you this much rebate or this much concession. And
But of course, we know once it's enacted, that would be a violation. You can't show a property without having the agreement.
yes.
So, but it's not yet.
Yeah, but people are already adapting, and I want to be one of those. I don't want to be reactive. I want to be proactive, and I'm going to start doing this for my new leads.
That's a great idea. I'll show you the
Yes.
first home, but if we're going to continue, then you need to sign this representation agreement.
Yeah, or I'm not going to, personally, yes, I'm at the stage, I'm not going to waste time. Like, I can use my time for something else. So, and I think we all should encourage, we all should follow that rule.
Mhm.
That is going to be the way we do real estate for buyers. Or they go and buy whatever, the house on the T, the house behind the freeway, the house on some corner where it won't sell forever. So that's what I tell them. Like, sorry, but I've seen people buying homes. Yeah, every home sells, but does every home equally appreciate? Is every home equally marketable? Is every home an asset? I always tell my clients, I'm here to help you buy home. I'm not here to sell home. And second thing I tell them is, I'm here to help you buy an asset, not a liability.
Trina's clapping for her. Good. It's kind of all American.
Sorry. You want to go with the question?
Does anyone have any other questions? Shweta, did you have something to add to that? Tell us about your listing presence. Crum has a question?
So at the beginning of your career, for the new agent's sake, where does your business came from at that time? Is that from your own community, people who knows you and give you the business?
My first lead, initially I was so enthusiastic. I signed up. I started like walking 1,000 homes. I'm thinking every month I'm going to walk these 1,000 homes. Oh my God, I knew I was wrong. And I was investing money on Zillow and wherever I could invest, I was investing. But my first lead came from Zillow that I converted, my first buyer. And then from there, I got 3 referrals out of him. and those were my 3 other buyers. But my first one was from Zillow.
How many leads did you get before you got that one and converted that one from Zillow?
Probably like 20 shitty leads.
Okay,
Not just leads,
Yeah.
but shitty leads, right?
yeah, that's why I asked.
So the 23rd lead, just approximately, you
Yeah.
converted.
But then I've done partnership with Holden during COVID time with Zillow. And I've had buyers from there. I think Zillow was, during COVID, Zillow was awesome because everybody needed to make an appointment to see the home. And I converted 2 of the buyers on the very first house that they saw. We closed on that home. So that was, so Zillow is not bad, but I don't think, Zillow was great during COVID, but not right now, I feel. And again, depends on how much you're investing in it.
I think for me, it was family and friends, and then community, like the neighborhood I focused on.
And then
That's it.
it was Zillow and open house.
And open houses.
Open
That's right.
house. Yeah. Zillow and open.
So right now, if I ask you, what percentage of your business is from your own Indian community? For both of them?
Mine
It
is,
will be different, right?
yeah, it's different. Mine probably 50. 50, I like working with non-Indians.
You know, I would answer to those kind of
You like
questions,
that.
fair housing. Yeah, fair housing. So, yeah, but just.
Oh my God, can we pause this damn thing?
It's not anything wrong. It's not that you're denying service to anybody, you're just like,
From you, I like.
No,
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 I
I'm
want-
not denying, but I've realized that I've got more calls from my farm after I've started farming for a few years. And a lot of those people have not been Indians that have reached out to me. So and my door knocks, I don't necessarily see who's behind the door that I'm door knocking. I just go door knock, right? So I've had more conversion from my door knocks and my farm, which have been non-Indians.
so you actually knock on the door
I know.
and wait to see if somebody comes.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, this is Shweta. I just want to shout about.
I tried that. Initially, I tried door knocking and farming and
Oh
it's
my-
just, it's fun. It's fun.
So
It
what's your
just
script? When
helps
you,
you
when you
come
knock
out
on the
of your
door,
comfort
since you started, what do you say to them when you knock on the door?
But I answer.
Oh, if they answer, like the one that I just did door knock for my listing in West Park, I said, oh, just wanted to let you know we have this listing coming on the market. It's going to be, we have an open house this weekend. I wanted to make sure you and neighbors have the time to come and check this house out. If you know of any friends or family looking to move in, please share this information with them.
But what about if you don't have one? Yeah.
If you don't have an open house, this is how I got a really great buyer and I got 3 sales out of it. I door knocked and I said, hey, this home just got sold in your neighborhood. Do you know of anybody else? My buyer just missed out on this home. Would you know of anybody else looking to sell in this neighborhood?
That's really good.
Did you have a buyer?
That's really good.
So from there, the guy goes, oh, this is B2B renting out here, but we may eventually land up buying. So I put them on my pop buy list. And so I reach out to them again. And then he, after a few months, just emailed and said, we have 2 homes that we want to sell and I've been looking to buy. Can you work with us? And I'm like, who is this?
Oh, I remember that one. yeah.
He is amazing with
What
the
I
follow.
did. I have listing rentals in Margarita. I do farming too. And I post my postcard like, oh, I have 4 offers, but we only accept 1 buyer, right? But I have 3
Yeah.
buyers. We're looking for exactly the same, price range. Want to sell? I have buyer ready for you. And I put in my postcard everywhere for my
Yeah,
farming area.
I think those are good ones.
I
Like,
think it's really good idea.
those are good ones. Like,
Yeah, I get more
Yeah.
conversion from door knock, but I'm just becoming lazy now.
Yeah, I think. No, but you have great follow-up system. She does her job, like, she has a
People know you
system.
much more now. in your
Yeah,
Yeah,
area.
yeah,
system
yeah,
in
yeah,
place.
they know. And I have somebody who stops by my events religiously, marks it on his calendar and stops by and just sits and chats. He has 17 homes. I'm hoping to sell one of his homes
That's
eventually.
why.
So I'm like, okay, you sit here for 3 hours if I'll have coffee with you. As long as you eventually sell one of your houses with me, I'm sitting and chatting with you for 3
It's
hours.
kind of funny, he's happy to share all that information with you, you know?
Yeah.
His financial assets.
Yeah,
They
he's
do,
shy.
they do.
Yeah.
When they come in open houses and they don't see anybody and they see you.
Or it's just me and him just
We
sitting
just
and having
open up.
coffee with Brownie for
Yeah.
3 hours. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my God. how
People
much
love to have conversation with us about real estate. I think you all must be noticing that.
Can you talk more about the events that you host? The-
I used to do the coffee event every 3 months or so in my neighborhood where I would put up signs, coffee, and I would put it twice on my flyer and then put up on the day of the coffee event, coffee at the park, whatever. Woodbridge is very strict, so most of my signs got pulled out. And so now I've started doing the ice cream truck, which is better than the coffee because I've realized kids will remind the parents to come to the ice cream. Parents really don't care for the free coffee, but the kids care for the free ice cream. So the ice cream event is always better than a coffee event. And I had a lot of traffic with the last ice cream event that I had.
Are people friendly?
Oh, they're super friendly. And I'm
I
like,
love it.
and they're like, can we have two? I said, no, sorry, just one. Just
Funny.
You're like, sign here, the buyer broker agreement, yeah, you can have an extra.
You have to get a raffle ticket because the ice cream guy will not give you an ice cream unless you have this raffle ticket. So you need to sign here.
Oh,
And then you sign it with all your information. And then they come like, can we get one? I said, no, sorry, I'm so sorry.
When you sell your house, you get the second.
very
I
generous.
think with the events, I have done a lot of events. That's something I love to do.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, I've not done postcards or farming or anything, but I've done events anytime.
Yeah, we've
I
done
have-
event together.
Yeah, we have done events together in Indian community and outside actually.
You have at
Um,
schools, things like that.
Yeah, we've done in companies.
Yes,
Yeah, and
And-
companies at the
so-
Diwali, where,
Yeah.
at the Great Park where they have the
And
gathering of about 5,000 people.
so anytime, any association, be it parent teacher, be it community, be it your church or anything, they're always looking for these freebies.
Yeah,
To
you
give
have
out to their visitors. And HOA, my point of contact was HOA, and anytime they reach out to me, I'm always there to pay for that event, or I'm always there to be a sponsor. I lived in Cyprus, like one of the neighborhood in Irvine. I did that, and I'm still in contact with those HOA guys. They know to reach out to me, and I'm always there to write that check for the event. Because I'm there, I get to meet people in person. It's like open house, basically.
So you get a
And-
booth, right? They allow you
Yeah,
to have
I'll
a
always have a table or booth and with my cards and some free, even the notepads you give out, they like to take it. It's just seeing you being there, that's all. And then recently I moved to Great Park, so I have established relation with them. They have amazing,
I think
event
people are
community.
noticing you.
I'm always there to support those events.
And like I've
be
had
there.
people sometimes like I'm parking my car and they're like, oh, we know you. I'm like,
They know you.
"No, you know me. I'm like, I
Yeah,
better
you-
behave now outside. I don't know
have
who
to-
knows you.
Yeah, I think doing events and
Yeah.
flyers also, you kind of become a celebrity in that.
that's really
area.
nice that they say
So-
something, that they recognize you.
Yeah,
I'm like,
do,
how do
they
you
do.
know me?
Mhm, yeah.
you pay for your own publicity.
Mhm.
But that helps, that brings credibility, that brings, it's just more impression in their brain, rather than paying on social media. I think they come there, they meet you, they see you, they see your photos or things. It just helps and you become their area expertise.
So can you attribute any direct transactions to social media?
For me, no.
No?
I have.
I
You're
had,
very active on social
Yeah.
media. so-
yeah, I've had 3.
3.
Yes.
I haven't even met one of the clients that I've closed on. But yeah.
I have a question. Regarding the events that you mentioned, like ice cream, is that in a park or?
It's at the park. And this time Carlos helped me design a stand that I put up by the ice cream truck and then also a flyer, a banner that went on behind the ice cream truck and I made him drive 15 minutes in the neighborhood which said, Shweta.
Like I said, you pay for your own publicity and that's okay.
So when did you do that? Like a weekend or like?
Sunday, I realized Sunday is better than Saturday because Saturday everybody has some
Activities.
classes. And then Sunday evening, because Sunday morning, everybody goes to church. So Sunday 3 to 5, because everyone wants to have early dinner, wrap things up.
Thank you, thank you.
And I think her
And I'm
Uh,
sorry, I do have another question. Regarding the open houses, if you get a buyer that they don't have an agent, do you approach them there? How do you, or just get the information and you approach them later on?
I have them.
I think we just take their information and always, I always call them later.
But in general, as a practice that I do is that everyone who signs up after the open house, I always send everybody, whether they have an agent or don't have an agent, a message saying, thank you for visiting at my open house on XYZ. Let me know if you have any questions regarding the home.
So you don't ask them to come in the door if they have an agent at that point?
Oh,
in
no,
time?
when they,
Okay, you just want their contact
I just
information.
want it.
I think, so for the open house,
Mhm.
yeah, you just ask them contact information.
Okay, nothing more. You don't ask if they have an agent at that point in time.
If it's
I
too
do.
busy, I
You do?
don't.
I do
Okay,
ask
just
them
curious.
if you have.
Yeah,
an
if you have
agent.
time.
Yeah. Do
If you have
an
time, then
agent?
yeah, I'll ask.
You know, for instance, if you ask them if you do have an agent, and if they say no, so at that point, can you say that, do you want me to send you some information, or then you would make an appointment with them to meet with them in person and then go from there?
I make an appointment. I don't want to waste my time and just be.
So if they don't make an appointment, then you know they're not that interested.
They just didn't like you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't send them any information.
It clicks at open house. If they like you, they will make sure they come for an appointment.
I
And that appointment might not lead to a client, but at least you get to know each other more, their requirement. If you want to work for them, if they want you to work for them, and so on.
So you've never met these people before, except at the open house. When you meet them at the appointment, what's your process?
So like I said, that training I did a
Mhm.
few years back, I follow that script. I have tailored it to my requirement. There is a process of, first step is asking them, where do they live? Where do they want to live? What is the motivation for the move? And so on. So there's a
Got it.
process
Okay.
I go through, understand their timeline, see if they have pre-approval, connect them with the lender, give them, for me, I just work with one lender mostly. That way I stay in control of the transaction and I know how solid they are and how to guide them. And yeah, there's a process. I try to have some steps and get few questions answered from them. So it's just I think my own script I've developed with them and then go from there.
Yeah, it becomes natural now.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and I think that's me, just my personality. If I'm not comfortable doing that, it's hard for me to adapt.
Mhm.
So most of the time, and definitely they talk a lot. They talk a lot. I try to ask open-ended questions.
What do you say?
So they talk more than us.
Open-ended questions. So it's just have more conversation.
So there is an art to it.
Yes, I would say
Yeah,
more of
she's
that.
very-
Yes.
She's skilled with her body.
Yes,
She's very.
that's not like,
No, it's not.
No, you just have to patience.
I go to her for all my new home resource questions.
Yeah,
She's
that's
very-
another passion is like I'm on it. I'm like, what's coming? I go look up in the city database. I go look up because like I said, initially it was a lot of primary homes, but now I have a lot of investors too. And a lot of people looking for upgrades. So I need to know my area. I know where I have sold homes and where people want to go from there. So it's art, I would say, like you got it. I'm an
Okay.
artist.
any other questions before we conclude?
The question is the ice cream truck, the.
Yeah, so that.
You
I
come
wa-
to my next event.
So I wanted to answer about the events.
No, you follow the truck and just the truck driver by itself.
No.
No, I'm just standing there. He went around 15 minutes in the neighborhood ringing his bell with my banner.
But you-
And then he parks in one spot. And then you park in one
So
spot. and
one-
everybody
one-
comes to that spot.
Oh, one information, I am going to do that.
Yeah. She was asking if he goes around, but he comes back to the one
He comes
spot
back
and
to the
everybody
same
gets.
spot and
ice cream from
everybody
there.
has to be there.
Yeah. So one thing I would say about the events, I think somebody asked on the online also. For events, make sure you get approval from the HOA. And you have someone you reach out in HOA, okay? I think your communities, they don't have HOA, they're like not so strict, but the communities I work in, only newer neighborhoods, they want their permission. They tell you which park you can hold an event and so on. For me, that's how I've been.
Woodbridge, unfortunately.
Like you need HOA permission?
No.
No? Okay. But for me, I've always.
Because they don't
reached out.
allow anything, so I just do it.
Oh. That's okay.
No,
Okay.
because you're not allowed to like even have a garage sale out there. There are no signs that you can put out. And so it's very difficult to organize something when you can't put out signs.
Yeah, but follow the rules as much as you can. Right, we all walk the fine line every time.
Holden's over the line.
Go lines.
What?
Yeah, no, he does. Oh my God, have you closed that
Yeah,
transaction?
he
with
moves
him?
the lines, but it doesn't.
No, Richard, have you closed the transaction with him? He does hold his line, yeah, but we all walk fine lines.
Yes, he has one.
I have closed one, so I know he does.
I've closed one too. He's been very nice.
Yeah, he's amazing, but yeah, walking fine line.
Well, thank you, ladies. Any other questions? No, thank you. We're gonna have a dog for movie tokens, but in the meantime, the two winners are. So maybe ticket for you, maybe tickets.
We have a box or something to collect this. Did everybody bring a business card that's here? Because if so, we're gonna have a drawing.
So really quick, so I scheduled a photographer for a photo shoot for those that need it for Thursday morning. And initially, when I emailed out for interest, I had about 12 or 13 agents that were interested. And we need at least 10 people. So when I sent out the email for confirmation, 2 confirmed, 3 of them said they don't want it anymore. So I need at least 10 total. So if you're interested, email me as soon as possible. Otherwise, I have to cancel it because we need at least 10 people. So those of you at home, just email me. Yeah. And then you're gonna do the wrap?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Well, okay. Everybody come on up, drop in a business card. If you don't have one, grab somebody else's and put your name on it. Make sure it's clear. All right. Are we ready to draw? Hey, we got a couple more. Hurry up. Did we turn off the camera?
No.
Okay.
So they can be envious and come.
They can be envious.
In person.
All right.
I will be the winner.
Wait, Mary Ann's gonna come and draw. Come on, Mary Ann.
It's me.
She's gonna draw her own. I know you didn't put one in. Go ahead, don't look at her.
Okay. We have to at least see the bowl.
There you go.
Marion,
And
I try.
it's me.
Gina. All right. So congratulations. So from now on, we're gonna get back in the habit of bringing your business cards and we'll have movie tickets for all the people that come into the office. And with that, thank you very much, Archana and Shweta, for coming in and sharing. And next week we'll see you. And I think we have some other guests that will be speaking. Is that right, Carlos? For next week?
I believe so.
Okay, so we'll update you on that. Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.